Second race now of DOE Quality Parts Formula V's making their way out to the circuit. And expect a big fight at the front as we saw in race number 1. We've just seen an incredible fight in Lotus Challenge. And now looking forward to more of the same here from what we have dubbed the 600cc's of four-wheel racing. Lennell Janssen's car is fixed. Just giving it a little bit of a shakedown there after a tag between himself and Greg Wilson. He tried to go around the outside of Greg Wilson and ended up in the wall at turn 4. Wilson also out with some damage, but looks like he might have got his car all sorted too. Wilson will be on pole position if he has got that car sorted and rolls up to take his position alongside Gert van den Berg, race 1 winner. It'll be Brandon Hills and MD Bester who will make up their positions in race 2's 3rd and 4th place on the grid. And the second row there, with Brandon Hills a slightly better start from him and his teammate MD Bester. Bester eventually finished up in 2nd place. Hills probably will be looking at this race going, I need to finish this one, as opposed to not finishing like he did in the first one. Peter Hills and Lennell Janssen. Janssen starting from 6th place. So he's got some work to do to try and stay with those top 5 if he can. And so as they line things up there, top 6 are all there. So Greg Wilson is on pole. Alongside him, Gert van den Berg. Hills, Bester, Hills, Janssen. Sean van der Linde there in the 7 car. He, of course, finished just off the podium ahead of Vaughan Hills, who also had some problems of his own in race number 1. But he managed to get back on track and finish up in single digits, I think in 8th place overall there. Theo Vermaak and Carl Watt, Eric Boyens and Dave Austin, Yanni Geser, Roy Douglas, Marcel Bluchnout, Oni Vermaak and Clinton Kane, making up 17 cars about to go to battle for the last time this weekend's Passion for Speed Festival. Stand by for some more passionate speed coming out of Formula V. They're sponsored by Start My Car, and the starts are good here for both of the front row contenders, but on the inside, Gert van den Berg with a slight advantage as he heads down into turn 1 ahead of Greg Wilson. Wilson will have to settle for 2nd place as they go in there, yes indeed. And here comes, well, both of the Titan cars, MD Bester and Brandon Hills. Hills ahead of Vaughan, and a little spinner in the background there. It looks like he's just getting out of shape, unfortunately, and we'll try and pick up who that is. Just looking to see who it is. I can't pick up on the number, unfortunately. It could possibly be David Austin. But as they come down into turn 4, the usual contenders are at each other's throats. A couple more coming to join them for the second heat now. Yanni Geser making his way through turn 4, back up to the top of the pack. And he's in the 2nd pack of cars. They've just lost a little bit of ground there to that 1st pack. But it's Van den Berg ahead of Wilson. Wilson ahead of Hills. Hills ahead of Lennell Janssen, then MD Bester. Then it's Peter Hills tucked in behind him. Looks like Sean van der Linde. And as I said, I think it might have been David Austin who spun out there, but I'll just get correction on that one. We'll wait and see as they come across the line, and we get the first lap completed in anger here of the 10 to go. 9 of them still to go as they cross the line now for the first time. Pity we don't have Lucian Ramchanda back here again. He'll be looking to make a welcome return after a couple of injuries, but let's see what happens now with the lack of the champion. These guys will all be looking to wrap up as many points as possible. Van den Berg, Wilson, Hills, Lennell Janssen, MD Bester. As they come through there, Sean van der Linde is there. He's the bright green car with pink livery, almost sort of Eddie Irvine-esque colours. And as he goes onto the back straightaway now, he gets followed by Theo Vermaak. I'm looking at the way things went there, but I would have to say it was David Austin who spun out. So unfortunately, Austin, the man who spun in turn 2. MD trying to close down on the back end of his teammate, who's now under threat from Lennell Janssen. He's got his 2nd teammate behind him in Peter Hills. Two of them going to try and work together to get up to these first 5. 1, 2, 3 and 4 go through there, no issues. 5th place is MD behind him. You can see he's being closed down by Vaughan Hills. Sean van der Linde, Theo Vermaak, and then it's Peter Hills. So we've literally got Hills in 3, 6 and 9 on track at the moment. Brandon in 3rd. Vaughan in 6 and Peter in 9 as they come down to complete lap number 2. Van den Berg controlling things at the moment. Late braking coming out of the 5-4 car. Not quite what we wanted to see out of Eric Boyens. He's in the top 10, only just. Mistakes like that could cost him, and he'd lose that top 10 position pretty rapidly. And on his tail, he'll be looking to be closed down there by Yanni Geser and Carl Watt. So Geser now being closed down, as you can see. He's got some maneuvers happening there from Carl Watt's point of view, and Roy Douglas just behind them as they come out of turn 2. Back to the leaders at the front end, and there's a move from Brandon Hills trying to get through on Greg Wilson. Wilson shuts the door though. Not going to let the youngster through. Brandon Hills trying to find a way on Wilson, but he keeps him very honest. There's another opportunity. Can he get him on the brakes? He's late. He locks up. He locks out of shape. Oh, he runs onto the service road and then onto the kiddie litter. That's a big mistake there from Brandon Hills. It's going to be a costly one too. He pulls a whole bit of rubble onto the circuit too. But Brando's back on track, fortunately. So Wilson very lucky there to survive, because there was a big sliding Titan Premium Car Care Products Volkswagen on his tail, sliding almost into the back of him. Have a look at this. Here he comes. He gets on the brakes. It locks up. And he just gets the back end to step out. Lets the brakes off, fortunately, so it didn't spin all the way around. And he catches it just onto the service road and then over the kiddie litter to return to the track. He pulls a whole bunch of that rubble onto the track as he comes back on as well. There'll be a lot of it in the undercarriage of that car for the next couple of laps, so we'll keep an eye on Brando's performance. Carl's still in a bit of a fight here. What on Geyser? Looks like Peter Hills might have dropped in behind the two of them. He has. Hills now down to 12th place behind Geyser and Carl Watt. Leaders already through turn 4. MD Bester losing some ground there to Lendl Janssen and Wilson. Geyser, nice fight here between Carl Watt himself and Peter Hills for top 10 honours. And slowly but surely being closed in there as well by Roy Douglas. Douglas is going to go past Peter Hills. Peter Hills has got a problem. Hills is slowing there and got caught and passed relatively quickly by Roy Douglas. That's not what you kind of expect from a multiple champion in this category in Peter Hills. Something must have gone wrong on the car. Let's go back to the battle that is going to resume here between the two contenders and the two protagonists in the incident at the end of race 1. Wilson had nothing to do with the incident. It was all about Lendl Janssen trying to drive around the outside and on the dirt to get through on Greg Wilson. And when he eventually got the car back on track, unfortunately the two of them collided, heading to where they're going right now. Turn 4. Van den Berg looking for a double victory. This time it's Lendl Janssen on the inside and Carl Watt on the inside as well. Inside line from Carl Watt to take the lead of this little battle, but we also saw an inside line coming out of Lendl Janssen to potentially take second place away from Greg Wilson. And he's got it. He eventually secures it up into turn 5. Turn 6 coming up now for the Bull security man. Wilson tucks in behind him. Oh, gesticulations. He's saying, listen, let's not fight. Work with me. We've got to close this gap down. He's saying, let's think and work together here. We cannot fight each other, otherwise Van den Berg is going to get away. It's not a bad thought there, Lendl Janssen. And Greg Wilson looks like he's got a little bit of nose cone damage there. Look at the front nose. It's slightly, yeah, there's definitely bent. It's definitely bent up ever so slightly, so he might have gone into the back of Lendl Janssen, trying to run with the Bull security car. So Greg Wilson with a little bit of damage on that. Yeah, definitely a front damage nose there for Greg Wilson. You could see Lendl Janssen saying, listen, come with me, let's work together, let's go and catch Gert Van den Berg at the front. Van den Berg is just having a clean run of it in the Raymer. He's in the Raymer too, the two Forza cars behind him trying to close him down, the chassis that these guys run in Formula V. MD Bester has fallen by the wayside into 4th place, but he's still there in 4th, and he sat in 4th for a while, eventually being gifted a 2nd place in the race after the demise of 2 cars. So he's not going to give up, that's for sure. Behind him, it's Sean van der Linde in the 7 car. Slowly but surely making his way to the back end of MD Bester. And not too far behind him will be Vaughan Hills. So first 3 go through easily. MD Bester in 4th, trying to close things down. He'll have some great GoPro footage from that GoPro. And he comes across the line and completes another lap in anger. That's the halfway stage reached. And now we're into the second half of this race. And the last half of the action here of day 2 of the Passion for Speed Festival's 20th anniversary. What a weekend of racing we've had. Geyser and Watt still going at it. Behind them, it's now Roy Douglas who's closing onto Geyser. They've left Peter Hills in the wake in the background. Hills having some problems of his own. Hills actually looking over the right-hand side of his cockpit there to see what's happening. Whoa, Carl Watt with a big one! A massive moment for Carl Watt. He takes out Geyser. Watt comes out of turn 1 with a huge off. He goes over the kid, hits the bumps and comes straight across, slamming into the side of Yannick Geyser, who had nowhere to go. So we've had two big incidents at the end of both races here. It's not the end of the race, but it could possibly be. Carl Watt seems okay. He's trying to climb out the car though and get out of harm's way. He's right there by the marshal point. The leaders are about to head down there. They're not going to know it's happened just yet until they see the yellow flags. There's no yellow flags going into turn 1 just yet. It'll only be coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. Watt's there by the marshal, out of harm's way. The car is on the sideline. Is that deemed a dangerous position? Will we require a safety car? They've gone through relatively unscathed there. Watt A-okay by the looks of things. Yanni Geyser got the brunt of that one big time. Here we see it once again. He runs off the circuit. He gets airborne, huge. Gets onto the tar. Geyser tries to avoid him and just gets T-boned right in front of Roy Douglas. Douglas moves up 2 positions because of that incident. Geyser rolls back. He should be able to get back up and running if he's not hurt too much. But Yanni Geyser and Carl Watt coming together there in a massive, massive moment here in the closing stages of race 2. Peter Hill's about to head down to the scene of the crime. I think they're going to deem that car is safe and may possibly continue. It looks like they are. They're going to keep it under double yellows for a couple of laps because everybody got through there without any problems. Gert van der Berg hangs on for now. It's Lendl Janssen in second place and Greg Wilson in third, but the gaps are much bigger than what they were in race number 1, and we've got 2 to go. 2 laps to go for these guys. And what an incredible outing we've had for DOE Formula V here at the Passion for Speed Festival's 20th anniversary. Arguably one of the best Lotus Challenge races we've ever seen, and 2 exceptionally exciting DOE Formula Vs as well. This one just starting to peter out a little bit here in the closing stages because of the gaps that have opened up between 1, 2 and 3. But there's still a fight. Geyser's back on track. Yanni Geyser is back on track with bits and pieces flying with his car, but needless to say, he is back on track after receiving probably the biggest Ridgeway race bar T-bone he's ever had in his life. Now heading to the top of the hill. Geyser is under attack from slightly further back in the field. And of course it's the 13 car there of David Austin who spun out earlier on. And he's right there as well with Clinton Kane. But the leaders are about to catch the 3 of them. Now will Gert van der Berg be able to get through on these guys without getting too much of a hindrance? You can see he's coming up on the back markers. They haven't seen him just yet. Kane and Austin. And looks like Lendl Janssen is going to try and close it down because of traffic. And a spinner! Whoa! Lendl Janssen had to take evasive action. Wow, that was close. Clinton Kane got completely out of shape coming down into the final corner. And he spun out right in front of the leader. How Gert van der Berg hung on to that one, I'm not sure. That's second place Greg Wilson, who's now moved to second because Lendl Janssen had to run wide off the track. And yeah, he's through. He's got through there ahead of Lendl Janssen because of Janssen having to take evasive action because of the spinning car. Here they go. No, it's Gert van der Berg, I beg your pardon. It's van der Berg ahead now. He got caught up by the traffic. Geyser and Austin fighting on their own. It's now given a chance to Lendl Janssen to catch onto the back end of van der Berg. The back markers were a big factor there. A huge factor, in fact. As they come through turn 4, the rest of the pack coming through there. There's Vaughan Hills going through turn 4. Much better outing for him this time out. 7th place. But it's Lendl Janssen onto the back end of Gert van der Berg now with 3 corners to go. He's going to try and get on the inside of van der Berg, who sees him coming. Shuts the door into turn 6. Hold the inside line out of 7 and probably hang on to that inside line for turn 8. There's going to be a drag to the line between these two. Watch for the slightly different line coming out of Lendl Janssen to try and get the line and the drive to the line, but no. It's going to be van der Berg for a double win. Van der Berg hangs on for 2 wins out of 2 starts. Lendl Janssen in second place and Greg Wilson with the broken nose cone in third. Beats out MD Bester. Or does he? Looks like MD Bester might have come through there just ahead of Wilson, in fact. Timing monitor changing there right in the closing stages. Yes, MD Bester has just beaten Greg Wilson to the line. It was exceptionally close between the 2 of them, but MD Bester crossed the line before Wilson and then Van der Linde. Brandon Hills and Vaughan Hills finish up ahead of Eric Boyens, who crosses the line now. And Roy Douglas, who avoided that massive incident down at turn 2, very lucky to survive that one, will still end in the single digits and beat out Marcel Blucknote for the top 10. Well, I have to catch my breath there after 2 absolutely exceptional races to end up the 20th Passion for Speed Festival. That is really top class quality action again from the DOE and Start My Car Formula Vs. Look at the side of Yanni Geyser's car there. The pod is all bent. Geyser, how he got back on track and finished that one, only he knows. He, as I said, took a massive T-bone into turn 2. There is your double race winner, Gert van den Berg, taking the win there, ahead of Lendl Janssen and MD Bester. According to the timing monitor, MD Bester getting across the line there just before Greg Wilson. So Wilson's nose cone and the traffic did not help him out at all. Lendl Janssen giving a shout out there and giving a wave. I think it's possibly to Greg Wilson. He might be stuck on the sideline. I see a car on the left-hand side of that shot. I don't know if we can pick up on it. That is the spinner. That's Clinton Kane, who unfortunately spun out right in front of the leaders as they came through to start their final lap. Very lucky to avoid that. But if we just go to the left-hand side, there may be a car just on the left there. I don't know if we can pan a bit left there for our director's point of view. There was a car just on the left-hand side, and they were sort of gesticulating to it. I don't know if he's been able to get across there, and maybe Wilson was running out of fuel. No, he's disappeared now, but there was definitely one there earlier on. And I think it might have been Greg Wilson. So there you have it. The Passion for Speed Festival's 20th anniversary finishes up with absolutely incredible race action. Let's have a look at that replay one more time. Look at how airborne Carl got going through that kiddie litter. There's a lot of bumps at the end of the kiddie litter. He got back on track, and as he tried to catch the car, Yanni Geyser tried to avoid him, and he just went Ridgeway Race Bar 500 grand T-bone into the side of Yanni Geyser. That was a huge one. And Geyser got back on track though, and eventually still finished up down in 13th place. So lucky for some there for Yanni Geyser to make a welcome return after a massive hit like that from Carl. And Carl was very lucky to survive, not getting with any big injuries there. He climbed out the car and climbed right up on top of the Marshall Point. So Carl Watt giving us some incredible action in the closing stages here of DOE's Formula V Race 2. So we have got incredible stuff happening here in the closing stages of what has been one of the best outings of the Passion for Speed we've seen at the Zwartkops Raceway. Certainly the winter edition has proved to be very, very good. I'm going to try and catch up with some of the guys down in pit lane before we wrap things up. But we'll be back shortly with our little wrap up here from the 20th edition of the Passion for Speed Festival. So Claudio's caught up with our double winner from the DOE Formula V's, Gert van den Berg, after an incredible race at the front end of race 2.
Gert, double on the day. Talk me through your race.
Yeah, it was a good race, good start. Got away cleanly, passed Greg on the first corner, so that was awesome. Then I pulled a bit of a gap, but I knew Lendl would be coming. And then the last lap, we caught a bunch of back markers and there were yellow flags all over, so we couldn't pass them. Lendl actually said he thought the race was over and he missed the checkered flag. I was going so slowly. And then I had a good exit out of turn 2 and just could keep my nose ahead. But it was closer than I would have liked. So yeah, but it was a good race. Good weekend.
Awesome job, well done.
Thanks, man. Thanks.